Welcome, everyone. Hello, it's so great to have you here for the third annual US Open Champions of Equality celebration. This was launched in 2023 as part of the commemoration of 50 years of equal prize money at the US Open. Today, Today, we honor trailblazers in gender equality and highlight the continued efforts to champion equal pay, equal opportunity, and equitable representation for women in professional sports and entertainment industries.
We celebrate champions on and off the courts, on a journey that began with Billie Jean King.
At 12 years old, I had my epiphany that I was going to fight for equality the rest of my life.
A torch passed from generation to generation, chasing a vision.
We're here to celebrate a moment that changed our sport.
Of equality, opportunity, and recognition.
Not just about the money, it's about the message.
This is everybody's responsibility.
A chase that continues today.
Let us all summon a fraction of the courage of women like Billie Jean King.
The Champions of Equality celebration is about stories. Stories that inspire us to keep pushing forward.
Continue to fight for a better, more just, more equitable future for all of our children.
Today, we honor how far we've come.
Thank you, Billie, for fighting for this.
And look ahead to the next 50 years of progress.
US Open champion, well, we'll see.
To get us started, today, please welcome Chairman of the Board and President of the USTA, Brian Vahaley.
Thank you, Blair. Today is about honoring women in leadership, those who are helping to lead our sport and move it forward. At our best, tennis reflects the values of equity and inclusion, and we see that in the leaders that we're celebrating today. The US Open gives us a powerful stage to honor that leadership and to inspire others to carry it forward. As we present today's Champion of Equality Awards, I want to recognize the representatives from our USTA sections who are receiving this honor. Please stand if you are able and be recognized. Congratulations. These individuals are the backbone of our organization, and their work reminds us that tennis, at its core, is about building community. They are inspiring more women in their sections to give back, to lead, and to drive our sport forward. Thank you for your leadership, and congratulations.
Thanks, Brian. So this year, we are so honored to present the Champions of Equality Award to a trailblazer whose vision, courage, and commitment to representation have changed the landscape of film, television, and culture. Ava DuVernay has broken barriers through a remarkable career of firsts, including being the first Black woman to direct a film with a budget of over $100 million, and to have a film nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Like Althea Gibson, who we celebrate on this 75th anniversary of breaking the color barrier in tennis, Ava has opened doors for future generations, proving that limits are meant to be challenged and shattered. Today, we celebrate Ava's extraordinary legacy and her unwavering commitment to telling stories that move us forward.
If I want to be included, I have to create a space for myself. If I want to be included, I have to fight for it. And I'm fighting for it and trying to create a space so that the next woman doesn't have to do this.
Being a Black woman writer, producer, director, and distributor in an industry entrenched with racial and gender disparities, Ava has used her vision and her passion to forge her own path, to tell the types of stories that matter most to her, stories that uplift and inspire people.
I think of these efforts as one effort, and that one effort is for our lives.
That entertain and enlighten.
Darkness will fall across the universe. We're in search of warriors.
That reveal truth and recreate life on screen.
It's about rehumanizing us as a people, all of us.
Because I think that's what life is all about. You just give a little, and you watch and see what wonderful things happen.
As an Academy Award nominee and Emmy, BAFTA, and Peabody Award winner, Ava DuVernay is also the highest-grossing Black woman director in American box office history, as well as having been named one of Time Magazine's Women Who Are Changing the World.
Ava understands the power that we each hold and uses her influence to create content from a space that reflects the real world.
But Ava isn't just an award-winning visionary filmmaker. She is a transformational leader. With her Peabody Award-winning narrative change collective Array, working to break down barriers for people of color and women by achieving gender parity on the crew of Cherish the Day, to only hiring female directors on Queen Sugar for the entire 7-season run, many of whom gained entry into the DGA or earned their first ever television directing credit. Ava is championing the grassroots distribution of independent films for underrepresented communities with Array Releasing, and delivering dynamic social impact learning opportunities with Array 101, as well as always relentlessly pursuing social justice.
It's the Law Enforcement Accountability Project. We're creating narrative change around police abuse, misconduct, and murder of Black people. We're changing the lens of the story.
Ava has committed her career and life to elevating and empowering others in meaningful and everlasting ways. Ava DuVernay. There's no one way to define her, but no one can deny that she is a visionary.
So now, if you would please join me in welcoming Ava DuVernay to the stage, along with Billie Jean King, who will present her with the 2025 USTA Billie Jean King Champions of Equality Award.
Hello. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you. What a thrill. Appreciate you.
This afternoon, we are also so fortunate to have with us several individuals who've been at the forefront of the movement. Please welcome legendary tennis champion, entrepreneur, and advocate for equality, Venus Williams. And joining her, last year's Billie Jean King Champion of Equality honoree and today's panel moderator, celebrated producer, writer, and storyteller, Shonda Rhimes.
Billie needs to be in the center.
Okay.
Perfect.
There we go.
Stacy.
Yes.
What a photo.
Whoa, that's right.
What an even more incredible photo.
Yay, Stacy. All right.
All right, and now we will turn it over to these incredible women to share their insights. So again, please welcome our moderator, Shonda Rhimes.
Hello, everybody. I have to say I'm really excited to do this. Having you two in conversation is pretty thrilling. And I love the video. I thought that was very, very, I've known Ava for a while, but I feel like that video really spoke to who she is and what she's done. So it's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk.
Look, everybody, it's Venus Williams.
I know, right?
Wow. It never gets old.
No, never does. Okay, so we're here on the 75th anniversary of Althea and all that she's accomplished and all that she gained. What does her legacy mean to each one of you? I'm going to ask you first, Venus.
Oh, okay. First, congratulations.
Thank you, friend. Thank you.
Like we go way back, and you shine and open so many doors and windows for just women, people, and of course, African Americans as well, but most of all, people. Right. Althea Gibson, I grew up always knowing about Althea, and to me, it's just shocking that people don't know about her. Mm-hmm. To me, that's like a staple. I grew up, I can't think of a time when I didn't know about Althea. Mm-hmm. My dad was always so insistent that we know not only our history as African Americans, but also tennis history too. And I played under Billie Jean King at Fed Cup, so she was still questioning me on the wall. And we have our back and forth, and I'm like, this isn't a test. But in any case, Althea is incredible inspiration, and what she went through when you just weren't welcome anywhere. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine having to go and play the first round of the U.S. Open and sleep in my car the night before.
Wow, yeah.
You know, so what she went through is incredible that she still became a champion, and more than once. He did it over and over and over again. So I'm just very happy that we are celebrating her, and that this won't be the only year that we do, but every year that we'll recognize her until like everyone knows her name and what she accomplished.
I love that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I agree. What about you?
Yes, Althea Gibson. I mean, as a history buff, certainly became aware of her in my studies of great Americans, and particularly in women's studies and African American studies, she looms large. I think when she walked onto the court, she brought more than talent and passion. She carried the hope of generations of people who had been told no, of people who had been told you're not a person, you're not worthy to be here, to be listened to. There's no value. And so when you see her in those beautiful early videos and photographs, you were watching a remarkable and miraculous feat. A woman who actually stepped out of history and carried a whole people with her. Yeah. And so it's incredible that 75 years later we're here and we're still saying her name. Mm-hmm. And when you read about her later years in life, I wonder if she even knew that we'd still be speaking about her today and hopefully long after. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
Billie always says that sports is entertainment, right? And so Althea was an entertainer, which I think is really powerful.
She literally was.
Literally.
A singer and
a
musician and
Yes, and a golfer.
And a golfer, yeah.
But what do you think about how far we've come in both sports and, entertainment, or all entertainment, since her? Like, you know what I mean? We take 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. How do you feel like what place are we in now?
Yeah. Well, I think in sports and in storytelling, we're still wrestling with ideas of who gets the mic, who gets the money, who gets the credit, those things. But the remarkable thing that we must also keep in mind is it was an impossibility that 3 Black women would be sitting here on this stage with what we've all done. That was just not a possible thing to even fathom. And so while, yes, still so long to go, my gosh, how far we've come. And so, you've got to balance both as we reckon with these ideas.
Yeah. What do you think about sports? Do you feel like sports has come?
Yeah. I feel like tennis as a sport had a head start. We've been around since the 1800s. The women were there too, right? Long before the women's rights movement, long before all those things. So tennis had this kind of little bit of a head start. But now, in the last, especially 5 years, women's sports have exploded. We household names in other sports of basketball and soccer and you name it, right? Rugby too. So it's a crazy time and wonderful time. People want to invest in women's sports.
Yes, they do.
And it's like, duh. It's so exciting, and it's like kind of you wake up one day and you're like, wait a minute, we're getting there. There's still a long way to go, but people are now starting to see the value. And while there's much work to be done, as you said, we're still kind of fighting these battles. And as a woman in the world, no matter what your color is, you have to fight a little bit harder to protect yourself. You have to fight a little bit harder to get that same right. And you don't know what that's like until you're a woman. So all women are inspired by each other. And I think it's such a great time right now, and so different than when Billie started, so different even when I started, so different when you started. You both started writing and producing and doing literally everything. So it's just an interesting time to live in.
I agree.
So interesting. I never thought about tennis having a head start. It's a really wonderful way to think about. It's a sport where women were included from the very beginning. Yeah, rare in public life now. Yeah.
Does a lot. So obviously we're still facing some barriers. I always think if Althea were alive today, she'd be pretty impressed, I hope, with how far we've come, and probably wondering why haven't we gone farther. But we think about all the barriers you faced. You've faced barriers, I've faced barriers, you've faced barriers. In your career, when you look at those barriers that you faced, what are the things you think helped you overcome them?
I don't even think about the barriers. I don't know, do you?
No.
I don't think about them very often. I mean, I did a whole documentary on Venus's barriers, so it's hard for you to forget the barriers. Like, look at this, let's talk about it. But, I think that you must have barriers in order to have triumph. And I think, that I feel like I'm living a triumph story, and so many women, all of these women that are being celebrated here today, it's a triumph story. I see Sheila Johnson is here. She's, I see you. Don't try to hide. I see you. It's a triumph story. And so, yeah, the thing that gets us over is, isn't it in our, isn't it in our DNA? Isn't it in our very, the structure of our bodies as women and what we can do that no one else can do? That triumph, that hard thing is hardwired in us. And I think that, for some girls, if you're lucky, it's cultivated and it's encouraged and it's fed. And for some girls, it's pushed out of you. It's depressed. It is our magic. And the question is, how can you cultivate it within yourself, especially in an environment that would prefer it not to be? So yeah, barriers, they're there. How do you? I think it really speaks to the idea of resistance, which is an idea that I've been embracing a lot these days, politically, culturally, all the ways. And I think as women, we naturally have that in us if we lead into it.
When you talk about resistance, do you mean resistance in every form?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, resistance in every form. It's something I'm thinking about a lot these days, is how do you, resist forces around you that are challenging, and that can be professionally, personally, politically. But it's a time to start to think about what you can do where you are. And so we all have different tools, talents, time, tenacity, and it's a worthy exploration within ourselves is what should be resisted and how do we actually perform that.
I love that.
Yep.
I was raised to think of obstacles as just hills to be climbed. Like you have to just figure out how to get around them. And that's from my family. You come from a very strong family. And what was your family teaching you about things like obstacles and barriers?
Oh, wow. Yeah, my parents were the strongest people I know, and maybe we grew up in similar homes. But I don't know if there was a such thing. I don't know if we were allowed to think even that something like that happened. Like, if they thought we were dreaming that, they would have woke us up and be like, no. Like, so I never grew up with this thought of impossible. I just grew up with the thought that if I believe in myself and I put in the work, I will get there. And I believe that even Althea showed that, right? She believed in herself. In a time before the civil rights movement, before the women's rights movement, she was alone without any support at all. And she did it. So in a lot of ways, those doors were open for us. But no, I don't think I was allowed to think. And you know, these women here today, I think you guys think the same way. Whatever barrier it is, you just push it down. And that's the fun part. The fun part is not necessarily when you get to the top. It's that whole process
of getting there.
Of actually getting there.
I love that. That was good. So I'm not Robin Roberts. I'm just having a conversation. So I get caught up.
Who is here, by the way, in real life. In real life.
So when we talk about this, people always say, I mean, I'm asked it all the time, you're asked it, what advice would you give to leaders who are trying to make sure that this is happening? What would you say to somebody who doesn't think that equity matters? Yeah, exactly.
I'm on this thing called a face journey. I cannot. On the court, I have a poker face, but off the court, I'm a disaster. But when you deny equity, you make your own world smaller. I've always felt that way. You've made your world small, smaller, and smaller. The world is so big. There's so many things to experience and to know and to understand, especially around the people around us. We learn so much that you've really just, made yourself, taken yourself out of the equation. So you've done yourself a disadvantage. And for organizations or for people, I think we all have to look at our own biases. No matter who we are, what we look like, we all have biases that we might not even know we have. And it's about being open and confronting those continually, because those could change over time, because life change, political situations change. We have different biases based on what's happening in the world. So we have to constantly be on our toes to make sure that we're not falling into a trap, because if it's happened once, it can happen again. We have to know our past so it doesn't happen in the future. But in any case, organizations too, it's all about having a plan. If you don't have a plan, it's not going to work out. So, right? Got to have that game plan going into the match. You do. Billie knows all about the game plan. Like, how many Grand Slams? So, lost count at this point. So, more than me. So it's an incredible world if you allow it to be.
I like that. That's so positive. Let's talk about 30 for 30, the documentary that you did with Venus Versus. So I don't know if everybody knows. I'm assuming you do because it's Venus and it's Ava. But Ava directed an amazing ESPN 30 for 30 documentary about Venus's fight for equal pay. And it was one of my favorite things I've ever watched. So why were you interested in telling the story?
Yeah, I had this incredible opportunity from ESPN to make a film about anything you wanted. And I said, anything I wanted, are you all going to help me reach the person? I didn't know her. Yeah, no, we're gonna do all that. I said, Venus Williams. We're from the same place, from Compton, California, and she is, the story about her fight for fair pay at Wimbledon is an epic story that's not told hardly often enough. And so they got in touch with you, or they might have got in touch with your sister, the boss, and you said yes, and just were very kind. That's where I met Billie Jean King for the first time. That's where I met Stacey, and was welcomed into this a beautiful history of women fighters, warriors within this sport, just to be treated like the next guy, literally. And it was an epic fight. I mean, it's decades long, but I like, there's some things I like and don't like about the different films that I've made, but I like that structure because as I'm going through the history of Wimbledon and the fight for fair play, it's split up by all of Venus's championship matches at Wimbledon. Mm-hmm. So you see long clips of her just killing, just incredible clips of her playing. And I remember one of the notes I got from ESPN, was like, do you think, I mean, it's a 6-minute clip just straight of her playing. I was like, yeah. Yeah. Did you see that? I mean, how can you cut into it? Don't you think you could cut here? Nope, can't cut here. Want it just like this. And so they gave me a lot of latitude, but you really get to see the full expanse and the scale and the scope of what you did. And one of my favorite things that I've made, because it was me. Yeah.
So for you, what was that experience like having Ava come in and be like, I'm making this documentary? What was the feeling for you?
Can I just say one thing? No one knew who I was at the time. That's one thing to say, that she was very gracious in allowing a very new filmmaker. I think I'd done 1 or 2 things to come in, so thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I always felt so honored by that piece, and I remember my agent, he was very pro me doing it, Carlos, right? He really wanted me to, so he supported you from the very beginning.
Yay, thanks, Carlos.
You know, because I'm out there trying to play a match here and there, you know, and you get very distracted. I always say tennis ball fuzz in your head. You get so distracted by sports, you almost can't think, right? You just, I mean, you didn't have that luxury, but sorry, Billie. She was always fighting for the next, right? But it's, you know, he helped me to stay focused, so I'm very grateful for that. And I couldn't figure out why you wanted to tell this story. I know that sounds crazy, but also at the same time, I felt like I was doing what anyone else would do. I didn't feel like I necessarily had done something special. I felt like maybe I was just talking much louder than everyone else. So then I got like pushed to the front of like, go V. And I didn't have a plan per se. It just it didn't feel right. Nothing felt right about it. It was always wrong. So I just didn't feel like necessarily needed a bigger platform because this is what people should do when it's right. So I thought, wow, she wants to do this. I don't know if I deserve this honor. And it came out so amazing. And like many, 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 many years later, people are talking about the quality of the film and the genius behind it to put in a 6-minute clip that you fought for. And I just feel so honored to be memorialized in that way because we all should do the right thing. That's what my mom taught me.
It's wonderful. I just watched it again recently and was still riveted, so it was awesome. I know you don't play tennis.
No, not yet.
Not yet, not yet.
Not yet.
You would need something called coordination. Don't have it.
But you did make a film about sports and sort of dive into that. And what did you sort of learn about the sport itself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so uncoordinated and I've never been, talented in that way. And, but always, someone's got to cheer from the stands. Someone's got to clap. I do that really well. But really, it was steeping myself in the history of this particular fight, the inequity, the imbalance, and just learning about that. It so closely mirrors what we experience in larger societies. Really saw tennis as a microcosm of, and a more entertaining way to examine kind of our cultural challenges overall. And so, and Venus certainly represented, so much in that analysis. And there's a whole section about Billie as well. And, I think the reason why, the film resonates is that it's built by someone who is not an athlete and doesn't really play the sport. It's really about the history and the culture of the sport, which is riveting in and of itself. Yeah.
So speaking of all the firsts that we talk about, we're here for that reason. We're here celebrating Althea. We're here celebrating you. You've had a ton of firsts yourself. We heard them said. My favorite is still first Black woman to direct a movie that was nominated for an Oscar. I love that movie. What are the challenges, like specific to your industry, our industry? What are the challenges you feel like I know you don't see them as obstacles, but what are the challenges that you had to overcome that were specific to you? And what about what you see as challenges for people today?
Yeah, I think the challenge is, you talked about, the reason why that really moved me, what you talked about is you had a head start in your sport, is there was an Althea to look to. Billie had Althea, and you had Billie, and Zena Garrison, and people before you. There's no, in our, in what Shonda has done, and the incredible firsts, there are certainly talented women who are creators, writers, directors who made things, but in terms of having the platform, the national, global platform, the push, the support, it just didn't exist. And so for me, sitting here in 2025 to be the first to do anything in the entertainment industry, and you too, is bizarre.
I know, I say it makes me embarrassed.
It's crazy, it's embarrassed for, it's a 100-year-old industry, and the people that are in front of you right now are the first to do things like normal things, it tells you everything you need to know about the obstacles. And so I just like to spend my time focusing on, what it takes to do it, and what it takes is solidarity. It takes having friends. It takes being able to call you and ask you a question. It takes Shonda giving me my first job in television. It takes each other, women holding hands, and folks of color, and LGBT folks, and even, one thing that we're seeing a lot of right now is people with disabilities, people who are older. We have such an ageism in our culture, in our industry. And it's just about who is the center, who gets to be the center. And really the idea is that there is no center. It's a circle that we're all in, and we should all be able to be appreciated, be valued, be seen. And so, the industry is way behind. It's way behind, and yet it leads so much of our public imagination about who we are. People believe the stories that they see on film and television about what's possible and what you can do, and that's why, your work is so important. That's why the work of so many of our colleagues who are just trying to go beyond representation. There's a Black person in this. There's a woman in it. There's a brown person in it. Well, what are they doing? What are they saying? Are they a full-bodied person? Do they have agency? Do they have a past? Have we ever seen this character's mother? Have we ever gone into this character's house? Just those small things create a whole world of imagination in people that need to see it. So yes, many obstacles, but like you say, gives us something to do. A little extra something to do. That's right.
I love that. Do you feel like moving forward, one of the things that you have is Ava has an amazing company called Array. And one of the things I love about what Array does is that you make opportunities for other people specifically. Like your work is the work of equity in terms of what you're doing. Your work is telling the stories of, specifically, yes, you're entertaining, but there's always in your storytelling a sort of message where you're trying to get a story across. What about the idea that you're making the space for other people? Can you talk about that and how important that is?
Yeah, I'm really challenged by the whole idea of there being any conversations about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think it's bizarre.
I agree.
I think it's really simple. If you're not an advocate, interested in, okay with, all right, just let them do it for diversity, equity, inclusion. Let me say it backwards so it doesn't feel so DEI. Let's say inclusion, equity, and diversity. Let me mix it up. If you're not interested in inclusion, equity, and diversity, then what's the opposite of that? Segregation? Like truly, if you don't believe that everyone should be in this room, this beautiful room, that there should only be certain people that can do certain things. And if we help this person be able to do the thing that this person's doing, well, why would we do that? And all of the bizarre crap that comes out about this. Then let's look at what you do want. You don't want diversity, so you don't want everyone to be there. You don't want equity. You don't want everyone to have a chance. You don't want inclusion. You don't want to ask the person that's the outside of the center to come in. If you don't want those things, and I challenge people to think, what do you want? Because that means you want a monolithic society. You want segregation. You want to go backwards into a place that is really steeped in harm and violence and oppression. And so I think we spit out these words, equity and diversity and inclusion. But the reason why I was so honored to be a part of this award and this day is these words matter. These principles matter. We need to think about what we're saying, what we're agreeing to, and our agreement is also our silence. And so by speaking up, by making the thing, by saying the thing, by doing the thing, we resist this idea that these words don't matter, these principles don't matter. It's so easy to just let it be, listen to the sound bites and let the garble of garbage wash over you. But we can be precise with our language and what we mean. And equity is an important word, diversity is, and inclusion is, and they are good words.
Yes.
They are good words to be celebrated.
Preach. I like that.
Yes.
Venus, you obviously are the queen of tennis here. We all understand that. But you also have really built a beautiful business in terms of what you're doing with your design and how you're mentoring others, and also the things that you invest in, which seem to be a lot about making sure that who comes behind you is a bigger and better thing. Why is it so important to you to sort of branch out into these other areas? Obviously, you could rest on your laurels if you wanted to.
Yeah, my dad always said I'm not raising any dumb athletes. He set this standard. And we always knew that if we said, oh, we have a lot of homework, Dad, we could get off the court a little early. Thankfully, we didn't say that very often, so else we would have never made it here. But in any case, it's really about exploring yourself as a person. I think one of the things that my parents put in my head, and one of the things I was afraid of too, was not knowing who I was off the court. Because as an athlete, it's consuming. I liken it to a cult. You're in a cult every day of this obsession to get better, and it controls you. And it can become just all consuming, and it should be. That's what it takes to get there. And sometimes you still don't get there no matter how much you've, put yourself through the fire. So in that, you can lose who you are. And so I wanted to explore who I was off of the court to make sure that I could be a whole person. And so that way, one day when the tennis apparently might be over, when I have a, at 80. Then I'll finally have a chance to fully transition. But in any case, of course, sport is my true love. But I kind of feel bad that we're not getting to ask you questions, Shonda. I want to ask you so many questions in this room. I remember a couple summers ago, you reposted something that I had posted. It was something silly, and I showed my whole family. I was like, Shonda reposted me. I love her. You're incredible with what you've achieved.
Oh, thank you.
Ava, as soon as I met you, your presence was so powerful. It didn't matter if the world didn't know you. I knew you and I saw you, and I can't explain your presence. It's incredible. It's amazing. I recognized right away. So to be on this stage with both of you, I wish this could just be, every year. This would be great. So much to discuss. We could almost change the world maybe, right?
There is a lot we can do.
Indeed.
I have more questions I have to ask. Although I could end right there.
That was a good one.
Yeah. First of all, your run here at the Open this year was incredible. It was really inspiring to watch for all of us. And it really made me feel like, keep going, everything's possible. It was beautiful to see. No, it really was beautiful to see. When you decided to come back, is it just pure love of the game you want to keep playing? Or do you feel like, you have something to say?
Both. I think you can get so good at something that it's easy to keep going. But also I've been off so long that I did get bad at it. It was shocking. And also I wanted to see for myself what I could do with different cards, to actually have a card instead of no cards and just a will. And that's one of the reasons why I always kept playing and why I came back even after maybe I didn't have to, or after such a long layoff. And I learned so much about myself. and I learned so much about life. There's always something to learn. It's the wonderful part and sometimes the annoying part, right? It's like, man, another lesson. But it was exhilarating. Thank you to Stacy and the USTA for believing in me and giving me that chance to be here. I never smile when I lose. I wasn't happy, but this time I just couldn't be angry. I just couldn't be angry. I couldn't say, well, this you could have done better or that you could have done better. I played some great players. They played a little better than me. They had a few more matches. I couldn't shake off every single piece of rust in time, but I really was able to play for the joy and for the love and with appreciation, and it was just an incredible experience.
Oh, I love that. We loved watching it.
It was incredible to have the support too of everyone, and I had a lot of times in my career maybe I didn't have that support and I didn't really need it, but it was so interesting. It was so interesting to just realize people were rooting for me and that I could bring that with me on the court. Like people really want to see me do well because maybe they'd been there too where they were down.
I'm going to ask you a question that has nothing to do with anything because now I'm just fascinated. Okay. Is this really the first time you felt like people were really rooting for you?
It was in a different way. It was definitely in a much different way. It was with their whole heart. Yeah. I don't know how to describe it, but I could feel that. And I didn't really realize it maybe until right at the U.S. Open that I was like, oh wow, people really want me to do well. They've had moments where they went through things or were down on their luck or had bad health or whatever. Life is lifing, right? And I realized that maybe that's what I represented at that time, the possibility that things are possible. Yeah. Like you can do it, or there's a way back. You can have your chance, and that kind of started to pass through my mind, and I think it helped me to play the best that I could.
Yeah, which was fantastic. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about what you both want your legacies to be, and not just in tennis, and not just in film, but as people. And for you out there in the world, you have businesses. What do you want your legacy to be in business? Yeah.
I never played tennis for the legacy. I wanted to win. Wow. Okay, so I don't know. There's athletes in the room, right? And you played because you wanted to win that championship. You didn't think about what someone would say at the end, what someone would think. And it's so interesting. You find yourself in a position where you're just in a position, and then it becomes much bigger than that moment that you could hopefully hold the trophy just for you. And then you hold the trophy for other reasons. You hold different kinds of trophies, whether it's, fighting for whatever. Sometimes fighting for yourself is enough to fight for someone else. So it just becomes such a beautiful thing. And I don't know what my legacy should be. I never planned that. But yeah, just a good person is enough for me. Yeah. Maybe it's a small goal, but that's
an excellent goal. That's a very big goal. Ava?
I'm going to go with the good person also.
And every Oscar from here on out.
Yes.
No, I don't have children by choice, and my films are my children. And so I think it's probably what people with children think about. They want their kids to just go out and do good in the world. I think that's what I hope the films do. And so I leave those behind. They have my name on them, and maybe some years from now, someone will look and say, "This is what she meant. This is what she stood for. This is what mattered to her."
That's beautiful.
That's about it.
That's beautiful. All right, now we'll tell me their legacies. Okay, so I just want to talk about one last thing. What are you going to do next?
Oh, wow.
Not you, because I'm hoping I see you back on the tennis court. But really, what are you going to do next? What's your next project? Can you give us, you know me, I always hate when people ask me this question.
Yes, this is the dreaded question. I'm going to make movies next and television shows next. And, our industry has really changed. We had, you might have heard about these big strikes from some of the different unions. Had a strike that shut down our industry for a while, and that was coming off of a pandemic. And then we have, a political climate that's really changed what the different studios are looking for and doing, consolidations with the companies. I think that's all just, it's challenging, but it is opportunity. And so I've just been leaning into just more independent means. My most recent film, Origin, was made completely independently. I really like the idea of, okay, I could sit there and talk about what's not the same in our industry, or I can embrace where the cracks and the crevices are, because there are opportunities there to do things in a different way. But at the end of the day, you still have to sit down and write the thing, you know that. And just eager to not allow the challenges in our industry to affect the creativity.
Oh, I love
That's what I'm really focused on these days, and excited about everything I'm working on.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Thank you.
What is next for you? That's my final question for you.
Yeah, I can't wait to see too, for both of you. Yeah, a lot of people have asked me that. What's next? I don't know. I'll keep practicing on the court at least. It's great exercise at the very least. It's good for your legs. So I have no excuse not to hit the ball, but I don't know when or where I'll play, and I don't necessarily have a plan, and that's okay.
Yeah.
There's no pressure.
Anything happening in September?
No, not at all. Free schedule.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I'm just a big lover of design and the arts, so there's definitely someone in the room I'd love to collaborate with. In any case, yeah, I look forward to doing some of the things off of the court, and actually, I love telling stories. I love telling sports stories, especially after King Richard. And I never thought I would ever be in that position where I would be someone who loved telling stories. But there's a lot I have to say in the world that I know. So by no means am I you guys, but I love sports. So
I love it.
wherever I can be involved in that kind of storytelling is very, very powerful.
I think
That's
it's so
exciting.
that you're doing things that are, beyond, or not beyond, but outside of tennis. Robin Roberts also, it is an example of you don't have to be one thing. You know what I mean? You can do all of these different things. Also a great producer. Maybe you two can together.
He was trying to make deals.
But yeah, I'm trying to make a deal here. But I was going to ask you just a quick, if I can.
Please.
Do you feel, just in the story, the story of Venus, one of the things that I really admired about you is that it doesn't seem like you feel like you have to manufacture the last moment of the tennis. Yeah. Or do you feel like, okay, this will be the last one and it will need to look like this? Because your answer is just pretty much, I'm going to do what I feel like. And a lot of people are trying to construct what the end, the final thing is. For you, no? It's just going to see what you feel like?
Yeah. I don't know, and I don't have to know.
No.
I think I've earned the right to not know.
Yes.
And it's very unpredictable that I came back at all.
Yeah.
I held my cards close.
Yeah.
And a week before, I said, hey, guys, I'm going to play.
Yeah.
No one knew what to expect, and that was me too. I didn't know what to expect either. I was like, I hope this goes all right. But yeah, I don't have a plan. And it's okay for the first time in my life to not have an exact tennis plan. It's interesting, it's liberating, and it's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
You deserve to get to tell whatever story you want.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
All right. That's it, everybody.
That was good. You did a great job. Thank you.
How'd I do, Robin?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thanks to our incredible panelists. Thank you to all of you for being here, and we hope this has inspired you all to fight for equality in every area of your life. And we'd actually like to invite our panelists to stay with us for just one moment, because we have one more very special piece of business.